Hello, my name is Bubba Blue. I make music. I love to review people's music. Today, I'm reviewing 5 different albums. One is actually an EP. If you don't know how this works, usually what would happen is I'd go to this tier list and one by one I'd go through every song on the album, put them onto the 5 categories in the playlist: bloody good, maybe even great, mid, not bad, not good, not a great, listen, and trash. And at the end of the album, I'd give you a review. Instead, I'm going to bring you to where I have all the songs already in their categories. For example, the new Coi Leray album will be the first album we do. The album's name is Coi, and this is where I put all the songs into their categories. In the playlist, we got Bitch Girl, Players, Get Loud, Run It Up, and No Angels. In Bloody Good, Maybe Even Great, we have My Body, On My Way, Man's World. In mid, not bad, not good, we have Bops, Make My Day, Spend It, Don't Chat Me Up, Black Rose, Radioactive, Come and Go. And in not a great listen, we have Pocket. I thought this album was actually a load of fun. I think it is a really good album. Lots of really fun, great samples. I like a lot of Coi Leray's music. I think she's very talented. And I liked all 5 of these songs. I think they are very good. By the way, all the albums I do today, the 5 I do today, are all 2023 because I'm trying to get as much done as possible, because unfortunately I haven't been able to be consistent because of weddings and shows and stuff like that. So I haven't been able to release as consistently as consistent as I wanted to. But this will hopefully get me back on track for 2023. But like I was saying, yeah, it's fun. Great samples, really enjoyed this album. If I had to guess what the score was before I do the math really quickly, I'd probably guess it's like a 7. That's how I felt listening to it, like a 7 out of 10. Pretty good album. But let me go ahead, do the math, and see what the album gets. So Coi by Coi Leray gets a 6.9 out of 10, which is pretty spot on to what I felt like it was. It's a good overall album. If you haven't heard it, I'd recommend checking it out. There isn't too much to say about this album. I enjoyed pretty much the whole thing. Pocket, I didn't really like too much. And the reason for that was more just the sample she uses. It's like that robot I think it says Pocket, Fix It, Hug It, something, and I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. I didn't like it at all. So that's why I went into not a great listen. But let's go into the next album. This is an album by an Australian artist named Cahooks, who has had some pretty big songs like Bonnie and Clyde, Do Time, and Mbappe. Pretty banging songs, and when I heard those, all 3 of those went to the playlist. I was like, damn, this kid has got something going on. So I was pretty excited for this album. If you've never heard of Cahooks, I would recommend listening to Do Time, Bonnie and Clyde, or Mbappe. All 3 songs are very good. Cahooks is spelt K-A-H-U-K-X. K-A-H-U-K-X. Very good artist. Would recommend listening to it. This EP, though, however, felt disappointing because it didn't have the same presence as his singles had, where they really hit me, and I straight away went, damn, this guy's good. Added them straight to the playlist. All these songs were fun, they were good, except for maybe Turn Me Up, which I'll explain soon. But all these were fun and they were good. They just didn't slap hard enough, didn't hit hard enough to make it into the playlist. They were all good, just not perfect, or just not amazing, brilliant, anything like that, just good. There is a bar I want to point out on Nothing to Something. Unfortunately, it looks like Genius doesn't have all the lyrics. I guess they tried. So the lyric I wanted to point out, which I was hoping would be here, was a lyric that said, make his dick hard, not his life, make her pussy wet, not her eyes, which I just think is so cringy and just something you'd expect on Facebook. I was just like, nah, I'm not otherwise, other than that bar, this song probably would have made it. Nothing to Something probably would have made it into the playlist, but that bar just cringy as fuck. So yeah, Turn Me Up felt like a bad attempt at what a lot of the rap game is doing right now with I can't remember what it's called, Jersey rap, where it's I don't really know except for if I showed you the song, but if you listen to the song, you know what I mean. It just sounds like a bad try at something that everyone else is doing pretty good. and it's just like on the scale next to these guys that are doing it good, it just falls straight to the bottom and it just falls flat. Doesn't have any energy. It's just not a good song. So that's why that went there. This whole EP to me kind of was like just above mid. So like a 6 or 5.5, you know, like it's not mid because the songs are good, but it doesn't feel like anything great or something where like an artist that put out bangers like he did, you know, you expect a lot better. So it was a little bit disappointing. But let me go ahead and do the math and let's see what this album gets. So Nothing to Something by Cahoots gets a 6.3 out of 10, which is right about where I thought it'd be. That's a pretty good rating for an album. This is his first album ever. It makes sense. A pretty good start. Hoping that his next album is better. Gets more around that 7 to 8 range with songs like he released before. But let's go on to the next album. K Tremine by K Tremine. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced K Tremine. I heard them say it in the song a couple times. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's K Tremine. So what happened is, obviously I listened to his albums and I wrote a little bit of notes. And for this album, I don't really have a lot of notes. But I will say what went into what category. So in the playlist is Who He Is, Master P, and Shut the Fuck Up 3. In Bloody Good, Maybe Even Great is West Side. In Mid, Not Bad, Not Good is Let's Talk About It for Eva, Rebuke, Ugh, Ugh, and K and A. And Not a Great Listen has So Sup and I think that's pronounced So Sup. I'm not sure. I say this album felt mid at times. That's why some of the songs are mid. A lot of like Who He Is, Master P, and Shut the Fuck Up are fun. They're easy to sing along to, are enjoyable. But a lot of the songs kind of just felt like, there's another one, there's another song, you know. Wasn't anything crazy or special. With the song Ugh Ugh, it would have been bloody good and maybe even great, except for this ending it has that just feels like it shouldn't be there. It's like an almond break and some other things. It's just, it doesn't sound like it needs to be there. So I'd say it poorly affects the song, and that's why I went to mid. But yeah, like I was saying, a lot of this album feels mid. There is a bar I want to point out. I didn't write what song it's from, but in one of the songs, Mina says, made a slap, call it Will Smith. Basic bar that everyone in 2023 seems to be using. Not a great bar. Not a good bar. It's not great, and I think it poorly affected the song. When I heard that, I was like, again? Really? People still rapping about Will Smith slapping? Bruh. It's not even like a creative way to do it. Just saying, made a slap, call it Will Smith. Nah, it's bad. But yeah, this album felt mid. So like a 5 or a 6. Nothing crazy. Let's go ahead and do the math. So, K Tremine by K Tremine gets a 6.1 out of 10, which is pretty much what I said. I kind of figured it'd be under 6, maybe like a 5.8 or something. But that's close enough. I'm happy with that. Yeah, it's not great. I want better from Amine. I love Amine, so I wanted better. But a 6.1 isn't bad, I guess. But yeah, the whole album was just mid. So let's go to the only EP that we'll be reviewing today out of the 5 albums. And this EP is called Like by Ice Spice. And as you can see, I really enjoy this EP, and I think most people really enjoy this EP. I did do the one featuring Nicki Minaj on the Princess Diana, so there's 7 songs instead of 6, the reissue version. This EP is just a lot of fun. It's just a vibe the whole way through. Every song is fun to listen to. I will say that I put Actin' a Smoochie in mid. I just didn't think it was as good as the rest. It's not a bad song. It's just like the vibe that like In Her Mood, Bikini Bottom, Munch Gangsta Boo, Princess Diana, the vibe is next level good. And I put the Princess Diana without Nicki Minaj into Bloody Good, Maybe Even Great, because I think it is a good song, but I just think Nicki Minaj's verse on the other one makes that song better. So I don't think they're in the same lane. I think that Nicki one is better. So that's why Princess Diana without Nicki has gone to Bloody Good, Maybe Even Great, which I think is fair. And I'd say this EP is just great. It's a very good EP, like a 9. If Acting a Smoochie was in Bloody Good, maybe even great. Like if it was just a little bit more vibier. Shit, if that song wasn't in the album, it'd be a 10. Like, it is a very, very good EP by an artist that just blown up this year. Should have been an XXL freshman, but she's not. Probably turned it down because she's too big for that, which I respect. But yeah, I'd say it's about a 9. Let me go ahead and do the math and see what it gets. Like by Ice Spice gets a 9 out of 10, exactly where I figured we'd go, and I think that's right. I think a 9 is perfect. I think that's well deserved of her. Let's hope that her albums can live up to the same rating as her EP. Obviously, more songs usually mean less of a good review, you know, more bad songs. But if she can get a 9 on an album, she is a freak, because damn, this EP slaps. But I don't think I have much more to say about this. I didn't even say what songs are in the categories. In the playlist is In Her Mood, Princess Diana, Gangsta Boo, Bikini Bottom, Munch. Then Princess Diana's and Bloody Good, maybe in Great, and Acting a Smoochie's a mid. Maybe I did say that. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't even know. But I don't really have too much to say about this. Just a hell of a lot of fun, and most people have heard all these songs already. So let me go ahead to the last album of the video. An album by 100 gecs called 10,000 gecs. This is my first time ever listening to 100 gecs project or any of their music really, and it was a great introduction. I really enjoyed this album, although it has songs kind of all over the park from in the playlist and not a great listen. I wouldn't say I hated them. I'd just say they weren't exactly my type of songs. But in the playlist is Dumbest Girl Alive and Me Me Me. In Bloody Good, maybe even greatest 757, Hollywood Baby, Frog on the Floor, and The Most Wanted People in the United States. In mid, Not Bad Not Good is Doritos and Fritos, I Got My Tooth Removed. And in Not a Great Listen is Billy Knows Jamie and $1 million. These people are extremely talented. Everything they do, the fact that they made a song about a frog on a floor, that I was actually enjoying a lot of it. Very close to putting in the playlist. I think maybe the ending, maybe it went on for a bit long. Trying to remember. I think maybe it just went on for a bit long, and that's why I put it in there. But I think like the fact that they are talented enough to make a song about frog on the floor that I enjoyed, a frog on a floor, is insane. But it was just a fun album by some very talented people. They have a song about Doritos and Fritos. It's not a bad song. It is mid. I Got My Tooth Removed is a song, like, you don't expect this stuff. I will say my favourite song is Dumbest Girl Alive. I think that song slaps. The only reason I put Billy Knows Jamie in here, I don't know, I started to get bored of it halfway through. It wasn't as creative and random as these other songs. I just think maybe it didn't hit me as much as they did, and that's why they went there. And I don't even remember $1 million. Maybe, it just says like $1 million. $1 million. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that. But they're not like awful songs. They're just not really my type of songs. I want to listen to more 100 gecs because of this album. I really enjoy this album. If you haven't heard 100 gecs and you're willing to listen to something creative and maybe not something you'd listen to normally, 100 gecs is just fun. Go into an open mindset. Like, I did not know what to expect. And when I heard Dumbest Girl Alive, I was like, oh, every song's going to be like Dumbest Girl Alive. And no, every song is different. Every song is fun. Every song is it's just a good album. But I will say, like, obviously there's a couple mid and there is some in not a great listen. So it probably is only getting a 6. I wouldn't say it's a 7, although, you know, I'm talking about it as if it is above a 7 because I like this album a lot. I'm very excited to listen to more 100 gecs, but yeah, I think this album's a 6. Or 5. Maybe it's like a 6.5 to a 7. Wouldn't surprise me. Let me go ahead and do the math though, and let's see what this album gets. 10,000 gecs by 100 gecs gets a 6.5 out of 10. I'm doing really good at getting to know what these albums are based off where they are in here, it's starting to get a little easier. When I first made it, I was like, I don't know what the math is going to be, but like, I can tell that because there's 4 songs here, it's got to be closer to 7. If most of the songs are here, this is like the 7, this is a 5, that's a 10, that's a 3, that's a 0, you know what I mean? So it's very easy for me to guess. It's got to be around the 7 if most songs are here. But the fact that there's 4 under and only 2 above, I was like, it has to be under the 7. So it's getting a lot easier for me to kind of guess what they are. And I think a 6.5 is what I was feeling. I don't think it would deserve a 7. But I'm very excited to hear their next album. I reckon it'll be above a 7. The next one above that. Next one above that. I think they are extremely talented. If you have any more albums for me to listen to, I still have a list of some, and I will do another video that's another 5 or maybe even more, and I will try to get through as much of this year that I've missed so far to make sure I'm up to all the albums that have been released. But if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Man on a mission, creeping, go missing. Better keeping your distance. Staying consistent, I need the assistance. Ticking it all on my wish list. Man on a mission, creeping, go missing. Better keeping your distance. Staying consistent, I need the assistance. Ticking it all on my wish list.
Oh God, I'm tired.